Madden Benz Unfiltered with Mark Madden and me, Tim Benz, brought to you by Mike's Beer Bar on the North Shore. Meet me at Mike's. They've got over 500 available craft beers, 80 rotating taps right across the street from PNC Park at the base of the Clemente Bridge. Get yourself a steak and a stone and go there for the Super Bowl or whatever sporting event wants to drive you to the North Shore to watch one of the many big screen TVs. Lots to talk about today as we discuss, first and foremost, the coaching hire for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I see one comment in already, Mark. Going to need another beer at Mike's to deal with this hiring from Johnny Knoxville. So, yeah, I don't think it's a popular hire with the citizens. And it was even addressed during Bob Labriola's chat with Art Rudy II at Steelers.com. Some of the fan rancor that existed after Mike McCarthy was announced as the new Steelers coach, which actually fanned the flames all the more. Even ESPN bracketed a story around those quotes about the fans not liking the hire. What do you think of it?
Well, I think it's a good hire in a vacuum. I think Mike McCarthy's a decent coach. I think he's offensively minded, which will be a nice change. He'll have the connections to hire a good staff, albeit one that's cheap and small, like every Steelers staff. I think one of the reasons he got hired and not a younger coach was because somebody like Shula or Shieldhouse very likely would have insisted on a bigger staff, a more expensive staff, and reliance on analytics, which the Steelers have not yet moved into the age of. So considering what they were looking for, which was a chance to run it back, but without Tomlin, it's a good hire from their standpoint. As far as my standpoint, I don't know, I'm kind of numb. I just don't expect them to ever do the right thing. And to be honest, this might have been closer than the right thing that I anticipated. I would have guessed Brian Flores before I would have guessed McCarthy. At least I would have guessed that at one point.
Well, I think the biggest thing about this hire from my standpoint is the process was a bigger deal than the person. If I actually felt like they went through the full process in earnest, I would have felt better about it. But to not even take a look at the two Rams coordinators, to never even have Clint Kubiak come up in the conversation, to have never had an in-person interview with Clay Kubiak, it just feels like they didn't do the work to get to this point. They said, well, Mike gave us a good enough interview. I think Omar wanted him from Jump Street. I think Art wanted him from Jump Street. So they didn't look at everything in earnest. And that's kind of ironic for an organization that allowed itself to be blown away by Mike Tomlin 19 years ago when he wasn't the leading candidate.
Especially when they were allegedly blown away by Shieldhouse in the virtual interview. They only interviewed 3 candidates in person. I do think that an element of what I said before exists in the disconnect between them and the Rams guys. The Steelers not rely on analytics, when I guarantee those two are analytics guys to some degree, if not a great degree. In a way, though, interviewing only 3 candidates and hiring McCarthy reminds me of when Craig Patrick hired Edzo as the Penguins head coach, who had no coaching experience, who was just a broadcaster, but he happened to be walking down the hallway at the right time. Whereas Mike McCarthy just happened to be walking down the sidewalk in Greenfield, however metaphorically, at the right time.
Yeah, at least he's got a ring, so I'll give him that. But I think maybe a bigger factor than the coaching staff thing, Mark, which, by the way, it will be interesting to see how that plays out. We talked a little bit about this in the podcast, and if you look it up, McCarthy actually did have a big coaching staff with the Cowboys. He had 24 guys. I don't know what it was in Green Bay, but with Jerry Jones and all of his money that he could throw around, they did have 24 guys in his staff. So I don't know if that was a McCarthy thing. I don't know if that there was a money available thing. So let's go get everybody. That's how Jerry wants it. Tomlin, not only the Steelers only want to have a small staff, Tomlin only wanted to have a small staff. So we'll see what McCarthy wants and if there is some push and pull about that as the hiring process goes along. But I think the more germane part of the conversation was something else we touched on, which is TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, maybe the angle to Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Queen, Jalen Ramsey, DK Metcalf, and either the veterans you want to throw in there. Getting McCarthy lends some element of stability, familiarity, and some sort of name value to the position after Tomlin has resigned. And I think they put an incredible, probably too high standard on that when it came to the hiring conversation.
Well, yeah, it gives you a perceived chance to win now. It's once again kneeling at the altar of now. And I always love how Watt and Cam Hayward, who have won one playoff game between them, are somehow portrayed as victims in that. Okay, all those playoff games the Steelers lost, Cam and TJ didn't deserve better. They were out there too. They're a couple of losers is what they are. And that ain't going to change no matter who the coach is. They are used to losing. It's ingrained. It's in the DNA of veterans like that. Instead of super serving bums like Watt and Hayward, they should be trying to lay a new foundation for the future. But you obviously do not do that with Mike McCarthy. One thing about the staff that I'm going to find amusing, where the media, the schmucks like us, Tim, should be grateful that they hired McCarthy, is that we know what he can do. He has a track record as a head coach, whereas had they hired a Shula or a Kubiak, we wouldn't know that. Then again, maybe the fun, maybe the filling time and space would have been in the debate thereof. Now we have to apply that debate thereof to his coaching staff. For example, he's going to probably hire Al Harris, who used to play DB for him at Green Bay.
Oh, there's a linebacker, I think, but yeah.
Whatever he was. He's going to see we got to dig into that, Tim. It's fun. He's going to be the defensive coordinator. We're going to imagine what kind of defense he'll build, and we don't know. We just don't know. It's finally fiction time, Tim. We put it off when McCarthy got hired, but the staff will provide.
Patrick Graham is another name I've heard for defensive coordinator. Ben McAdoo, because he's from here and that. Bubba Ventrone, because he's from here. No, that was Bob McAdoo.
Oh, okay.
No, Bob McAdoo I don't think is available.
He was pretty good.
That was really good. Ben McAdoo is available. Bubba Ventrone from Char Valley, that's another name that's come up. Luke Getsy was one that was tipped off to me.
Yeah, just hire local guys.
Is going to make it as
just
many
people.
people.
Just call a general meeting at a bar in Greenfield and see who shows up and then hire them.
Homer City might be as far away as we go with Ben McAdoo.
And you know what's funny, Tim? I already sense a softening among the citizens regarding the McCarthy hire, and not least because he's local. If he hires a local staff, that'll win people over too. This is just a big freaking carny con to some degree.
Well, we all know that, look, we can rationalize McCarthy being here at 62. We can rationalize McCarthy because of his offensive track record and working with quarterbacks and all that. I said it in print. I'll say it again here. If he's from Greenville, South Carolina, instead of Greenfield, he's not getting a phone call.
Well, that's correct. And he's certainly not even being remotely received by the citizens.
Right.
Like if it would have been the guy with the same resume, not from here, the citizens, I mean, they weren't happy for a bit. And Tim, you do notice that softening, don't you? But they would have been just livid. It would have been some guy from somewhere, but instead it's a guy from Greenfield.
Well, and Pat McAfee's on board with it, and a lot of the national people are on board with it.
Big Mike, Greenfield bartender, Big Mike.
And that softens the local people who might be jaded and used to being frustrated by everything the Steelers do. And when it comes to playoff performance, rightfully so. Remember, I almost did it right there. McCarthy, he only has one playoff win in his last 7 years. Now, it's better than Tomlin, but not by much.
Yeah, I do think McCarthy's a better coach than Tomlin, if that matters.
It does. I mean, it'll definitely matter as the roster gets worse. He's
offensive. He's a change of pace. See, where I feel bad for the guy is that he's being criticized because people expected the old pattern to be followed. Then again, the most recent pattern was never winning a playoff game.
Yeah, I think it was kind of funny. I saw Ed Werder's tweet right after it was announced that McCarthy was going to be the guy, and he said that he had blown away not only Pittsburgh but Tennessee in the interview based on all the prep that he had done to outline how he worked and help develop quarterbacks. And it started with his time in Kansas City in the 90s with Joe Montana. Joe Montana got there at like 40 or whatever he was with 4 Super Bowls under his belt. Like, how are we giving...
Yeah, he didn't need to be developed, did he?
How are you giving McCarthy
you know what this reminds me of too, Tim? I do agree that the interview process has to mean a lot. But what was that dude's name, the linebacker from Boston College, who learned how to do the NFL workout and got drafted like 7th overall?
Mamula.
What's his name?
Mike Mamula.
Mike Mamula. He only played through his first contract, I think, or maybe one more. Never amounted to much of anything, just an average at best NFL linebacker, but he figured out the process and got paid for it. This kind of reminds me of that.
Because McCarthy figured out how to say what he should say to Art to pique his interest to hire him.
I'll be more blunt, how he figured out to say to Art what Art wanted to hear.
Right. What about the Super Bowl, Mark? The line is 4.5. That feels about right. Part of me says that the Seahawks are going to win by much more than that. Part of me thinks it's going to be close just by the nature of what the Super Bowl is built to be, but I'm going to go with the Seahawks one way or another. I'm just not sure how I'm going to play the line yet.
Yeah, I like the Seahawks to win outright. Let's see what the line ends up at. I think New England might be arriving a year early. I think they're a real good team. I think Seattle has by far the better coach. I think that makes a difference in a game like this. So, yeah, I like Seattle. It's a revenge game, Tim, and I thank heaven I don't have the sound effect.
Well, look,
Rabenga! Actually, I guess I do.
Mark, let's get to hockey because a lot of people are asking about hockey and the Penguins' hot streak. They've won 4 in a row. I can't believe they won all 4 games on their Western road trip. You know, by the time you and I had spoken to do the podcast last night, I had not seen that injury with Gino on the bench as he was coming off the bench. What the hell happened in there? Like, did Dewar bump him slightly? Did he just turn and feel something? What was that?
No, he said afterwards it had something to do with him celebrating.
Celebrating?
Yeah. And Muse said he was okay, but that could and probably is a lie. We'll see if he plays Thursday. At least there's a number of days between games.
Maybe he should have taunted the bench like Reek Woolen yesterday for the Seahawks.
That was unbelievable. If they had not made the Super Bowl because of that, don't you think they had to cut him? And then he got burned the very next play by Nakua.
Right, and, you know, the one defensive back, Wara, the rookie safety, was ready to kill him on the sidelines during the game.
Well, let me tell you the funny thing about that, though, is, did the guy on his own team yell at him?
Oh, yeah, number 3, Wara, the rookie safety, was going at him. He had to be separated by 2 or 3 other players in the secondary.
It strikes me that most players would defend him for doing that, saying that's part of the way they want to act.
Well, actually, Mark, it's funny you say that. I got that impression from some of the body language of the guys who were peeling Wara away because they thought it was a soft penalty.
And I got that impression from some of the ex-players talking about it today, that it's not a big deal. It shouldn't decide games, but act like an adult. Act like a freaking adult.
And then it was obviously still in his head because he got cooked. He had dropped an interception.
Yeah, but Nakua was going to do that too.
Well, they knew it, but they knew to go right at him, like right away. That was probably Nate Scheelhaus. That's who called that play, Mark. Nate Scheelhaus called that play, and that's why he should be coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers today.
Yeah, if he could bring Stafford and Nakua with him.
Which would be nice, but I don't think they're going to get there. What do you think of the Penguins' overall performance, though, in these 4 games out west?
Well, one thing I want to say before we get to Penguins, Tim, and I wrote a blog about this for the X website that's going to be posted. They can't wait on Rodgers. They have to give him a deadline. It should be no later than the draft, a week before the draft.
No, it should be free agency. It should be before that. It should be way before that.
Yeah, I think so too. But that's the bare minimum for a deadline. And yeah, I mean, well, you're right. They probably should make him before free agency. When's that, March 1st?
Yeah, because they might not get a great quarterback, but if you're trying to figure out which 3 are going to be there, like, do you keep Mason? Do you bypass Mason for Cousins or whoever else might be out there? Like, how do you build your quarterback room? You got to know that before March this time, not in friggin' June.
No, you're right about that. You're totally right. I mean, I wrote in the blog the draft, but I'll probably revise that because you can't let him get in the open market either because you know he'll look.
Yeah, right, exactly. And, like, you know.
One thing about Aaron Rodgers, he deceived all of us. He is a selfish jerk. He is for himself first and second and F everybody else. And that's how he will act again, given chance. Especially now that Coach T isn't here because, Tim, that's his excuse to not come back and go someplace else.
It is, even though he's kind of set himself up then to make it, you know. There had been a little bit of time since McCarthy and he were together, and it looked like whatever waters were stirred the wrong way had been smoothed over based on some comments that he made. But now if he stays away, it kind of looks like, and if he goes somewhere else, if he just retires, he retires.
Well, the fact that we're talking about this in very frantic, what if this, what if that, what about him, what about the other guy, just let him go. He wasn't that good anyway. Just let him go. He got you no further than Russell Wilson. Just let him go. Let him and Kutch take the same train out of town.
Oh, we got to get to Kutch too. So let's get to Penguins and then Kutch. What'd you think of the Pens first?
I think they could use Kutch. No, I thought they wore out yesterday in the third period from having played 4 games on the road, but Skinner bailed them out. On his numbers over, I think he's 7 wins and 1 loss, goals against the 1.6 something, save percentage of 0.93 something, just fantastic. He saved the game yesterday, stole the game yesterday, especially in the third, and Jari never did that. So there's a favorable comparison right there. Kindle with the 2 goals, nice story. Paid for 193 tickets. He'll be scrimping and saving. I mean, that rookie contract, Tim, it's a lot, but it's not that
Gone.
much.
It's gone.
Once the agent, gets his cut, agent didn't pay for no tickets. I can tell you that. In fact, Kindle probably bought the agent's ticket yesterday. But the one thing I like about the Penguins most right now is that all 4 of the lines fit together. All 4 of the lines, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. We never figured about the 4th line having that kind of impact. We never figured about the Malkin line falling together that good, that quick. The Crosby line's as good as we figured, but that's real good. And the Kindle line between the Twin Towers, it's good enough.
At some point, I think McCutchen has to let go of the notion that he gets to call his shot to leave Pittsburgh. If he's going to keep doing the Rodgers thing, and I'm not sure if I'm coming back in September, he can't be mad if they make plans to determine that in December and January for their own purposes.
What role does he have in it now, Tim?
He's a right-handed platoon DH.
No, that's what I mean. They don't need him. They just don't need him. His numbers last year weren't terrible by the context of a bad team, but they want to be better. He can only DH. He says he can play the outfield. I don't buy it. I'd rather have one of the pierogies out there. I just let him go, and he needs to shut up and have some dignity on his way out the door. People talk about what he's done for the Pirates. Pirates ain't done bad by him either.
All right, let's get to some comments here. We got a lot of them on a lot of different topics. Richard says, if the Steelers are stupid enough to wait on Rodgers again, and I'm going from the bottom up here, Chris, by the way. There you go. My bad. If the Steelers are stupid enough to wait on Rodgers again, it will prove how inept Art II really is as the owner of the organization. Then he follows up with a Pens comment, having a different voice in Muse and having the depth to roll out 4 solid lines is doing wonders for the Pens this season. They are getting a lot of minutes out of their bottom 2 lines and actually out of their bottom pair without being damaging on defense, too.
Well, it's like the way they're playing. They have 2 second lines right now, the Malkin line and the Kindle line. Kindle line's probably third-ish, but it plays in a better style than that, which is good for Kindle. In terms of what was the one before that, Tim, the comment?
The comment was that the Steelers shouldn't wait for Rodgers.
Oh, obviously they shouldn't. They probably, you know what? They might not. I think a big part of McCarthy getting the job, I bet he sold Art on Will Howard, which Art wanted to be sold on. And by the way, Art is the weak link. Art's the one Rooney who can't.
Dan asks, why does everybody gush over McVay and Shanahan? They have 1 Super Bowl between them. Yeah, but McVay has gotten teams to the NFC Championship game in the playoffs through injuries to Stafford, and there's a lot there that has been successful based on his offense. They're finally just getting a defense with Shula. I still think there's holes there. I was not wild about Shula, but I would have liked for him to at least be spoken to by the Steelers. And Shanahan, look at what they've done to get to the Super Bowl, to get through postseason games with nobody better than Purdy. That's why.
Well, you know what else McVay has done, and this is really a credit to the whole football ops in the Rams organization. They rebuild on the fly. They won a Super Bowl with Aaron Donald. He retired. Now look how good they are again. It's like the Patriots thing. You see, we don't give guys like that enough credit because it never happens here. It's the mushy middle in perpetuity.
Johnny also adds, this is Johnny Knoxville at the bottom. Stuart Skinner and Sidney Crosby are my only hope for the Pittsburgh sports right now. In Stuart, we trust. The Steelers are dead to me. I actually saw a comment come in earlier, Mark. I don't know where it is, but one of the people that commented and posted asked if the Steelers, it's Mark, by the way, Mark BC. He says, do the Penguins extend Stu? I think it's early for that. There's no need to have to do that now, in my opinion. You don't have to put money in the book.
No, they just won't, because Shilov's is signed beyond this year. And I think the plan is to call Morrishoff up next year. So I don't see them extending Stu.
Going up a little bit, Chris.
And by the way, that might seem like a step backward, especially if they make the playoffs and, my God, win a series. But you have to stick to the plan to win a championship. And having Stuart Skinner find a second career in Pittsburgh is not part of that plan.
Mark says, what if they trade Watt, trade Cam, Ramsey, etc., and get picks to build? Now we stay what did you say? Now we stay in Tomlin, we can win mode, but we just won't win. Yeah, that's the thing. They'll win 10 games.
They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. They're going to, if anything, they'll sacrifice future to try to help these guys win. I don't know who the frig Hayward and Watt have pictures of that they have the whole organization indebted to them to try to win when they're part of the failure. It really steams me, as you can tell.
Snapperhead's mad at us. He says Al Harris was actually a cornerback. So maybe you were right, Mark. He was a defensive back. Well,
I don't give a rat's ass.
I don't care.
Radio City Rockettes. Like, if he gets that job, we're going to pretend
he's not going to play
to the table, and we won't know.
He's not going to be a player's coach. He just has to coordinate the defense. I really don't care about the Packers depth chart back 20 years ago or whatever. This guy, Black Hole Sun 31, says Randall Cobb is OC, Jordy Nelson is wide receivers coach. But hey, at least we got a Pittsburgh guy and a coach who can say yins. We are such a joke of a franchise. That was our first comment in of the day. Yeah, I don't think he's going as much ex-Packer as he is going Pittsburgh blood. That seems to be the thing that he's going to be relying on based on some of the rumors that were advanced by Pelissero yesterday.
Tim, I'm more concerned about heated rivalry. I'm in episode 4.
Oh, you watching that?
Oh, it's great. It's great TV. Why, you don't like it?
I haven't seen it. It just it's fan fiction put to TV. Why would I want to watch that?
Because it's really well acted, and there are a lot of plots beyond the gay thing that are hockey things that are really intriguing.
What are the plots beyond that?
That no matter how good the Russian kid plays, his dad criticizes him. That the Canadian kid's parents treat him like an ATM in terms of managing his career. Just a lot of stuff I've seen. It's really good.
Is it as good as the Karate Kid?
You mean Cobra Kai?
Cobra Kai, yeah.
It's better acted, but that's not setting the bar real high.
Let's see here. Eric
Actually, that's not fair. I mean, come on. The magic of Thomas Ian Griffith.
Eric says, as well as the fourth
Who's
line.
Who's very sick, by the way. I think he's battling cancer. Shout out to Terry Silver, a.k.a. Thomas Ian Griffith.
As well as the 4 lines are playing, would you still like to see Gino back with Brazeau and Mantha, or stick with the
no?
I think the potential.
Gino's playing very well, and he's elevating 2 guys I didn't figure to be elevated.
Well, I think what you can get out of Chinikov by Gino playing with him is more even than what you can get out of Brazeau and Mantha out of Gino playing with them, if that makes sense. I think I think
Mantha and Brazeau are going to do X amount. No matter who they play with. I think Chinikov is exponentially better playing on the line with Gino. And Novak, too. Novak sucks, and look at him.
Let's see here. Steelers won't win a playoff game under Mike McCarthy as well. I mean, his track record with the Cowboys would suggest that. And, it is great that he works well with good quarterbacks, but the quarterback development we're largely talking about are guys who are Hall of Famers, like literally. And then Dak, who's a perennial Pro Bowler.
Well, but that said, Tim, I'm on record as saying they should go with Will Howard this year. And if they go 4-13, that's okay. If they uncover him as the hidden gem, some of you out there pretend he might be, that's even better. But that would be the way to go for me, Will Howard.
Well, actually, that segues nicely into the next comment for that exact reason, Mark. Brian PSU says 8 straight months of Will Howard hype is going to be insufferable. It is if you buy that.
As opposed to the last how many years not being insufferable. Tim, the Steelers, one thing I wrote in my column that I think people get but won't say out loud. When's the last time the Steelers were fun or likable?
Maybe the start of the Bell, Brown, Ben hysteria, like before AB and Lev came off the rails?
To quote Don McClain, Tim, a long, long time ago, and it was a long time ago, this team is thoroughly unlikable. There's too much nonsense going on. It's no fun.
But my point to Brian was it's only going to be insufferable if you actually buy the hype that Will Howard is going to be a savior in year one as a starter. If you take it from the standpoint that Mark just did, that if he starts and he's great, then great. If he starts and he's no good, well, then that's at least a clearer path to who should be starting.
But even talking about this is no fun. The Penguins are fun, Tim. Look at yesterday. The 18-year-old kid scores 2 goals in his hometown in front of 193 people he got tickets for. His parents are hugging. They're crying. And, all 193 went out last night in Vancouver, a fun party town, got ripped to the gills, and the kid couldn't because he's only 18 and had to go back to Pittsburgh anyway. That's fun.
Chinikov also scored but had it disallowed. There's another goal that he scored yesterday, but it was pulled back via offside.
That was a weird goal, too. I mean, it was obviously offside.
Yeah, it was offside.
But how about the puck went in by like an inch and then spun back out?
Yeah, that was weird. It was weird. Another guy here says just a hire, mediocre, mushy middle here. And, of course, that's where we'll stay. Yeah, it was kind of a hire that's very emblematic of where the franchise has been. That was pointed out by a couple people who were critical in the national media, and I think they're right. That's an actual good, rare read of Pittsburgh from the national media as it relates to this specific storyline.
Yeah. I mean, there are storylines. They're just no fun. I mean, if Howard played, that'd be fun. It would be fun. Might be disaster, but at the beginning, and the hype would be insufferable, but it would be like, I don't know, fun insufferable. I mean, it'd be like a Rocky story, except Rocky gets knocked out in the second round.
Mark, you going to BTO this weekend, is that right?
No, guess who?
Guess who, rather. Yeah, guess who?
Yeah, we could do like an Abbott and Costello routine there, except that's no fun. Backman and Cummings got the name back, so I'll be in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. I'm going to miss the reunion of the 2016 team, but Tim, they'll all be back next year for the reunion of the 2017 team. I feel bad, but they didn't pump this enough, hard enough, early enough. I made plans.
I think the Penguins at the start of the year did so much based on nostalgia. It all kind of blurred together, like there were a lot of nostalgia bobbleheads and things of that sort. Flashbacks to the 90s night, flashback to the 70s night. There's just a lot of that, and it kind of felt like a season-long thing. So if you miss one, it doesn't feel like you missed everything. Can you get out of your house yet, Mark? Are the roads plowed where you live?
Well, I keep looking out here. Like they're plowed. Although I parked my car in the driveway like I always do because my garage has a hockey net in it, among other things. And so the car got covered. I've cleared the car off 4 times dating back through yesterday. And now I just cleared it off one time, and I'm leaving it on for like an hour. Will that damage the engine? I don't think so.
No, I don't think you need to leave it on for that long, though. You can do 20 minutes or not, but it will help you melt the snow.
Tim, so it's 45 minutes anyway. I mean, I can't really say, hey, I got to go turn off the car. So, but yeah, so no, I'll be able to get out, unfortunately.
I'll be here till the Super Bowl. At least be here until I fill in for you next week. So we'll figure that out then. But one thing people don't get is, well, they do get because guys like me drop dead all the time. I can't shovel anything. If I shovel something, there's a good chance I drop the frig dead. So I just kind of defrost. I just kind of drive over stuff. I just kind of do the best I can. Mark and I will be back from Madden Benz Unfiltered next week. We will figure out how to do something from the Super Bowl.
Next week, live from Niagara Falls.
That's right. Hey, if it melts a little bit, if it warms up a little bit, there's nothing cooler than Niagara Falls when the ice flow starts to go down the American side of the river.
Oh, that's what I'm hoping for.
That looks really cool.
Tim, here's
really
what I got. I got guess who? I got Niagara Falls Frozen. There's a great prime rib place up there and a great casino. So it'll be I'm staying an extra day. I'm staying on the Sunday. I'm leaving Monday morning. So I will be live from NFO on Monday.
And for everybody who watched not only this show on YouTube and Facebook Live, but watched the Friday football show with myself and Mike DeCourcy, thanks for doing that. That's coming back next year.
DeCourcy's too big of a Tomlin guy.
Yeah, but he doesn't dwell on it too much when we do the show, though. So
he does mine.
I steer him away from it as much as I can so we don't get bogged down on it. But yeah, because if he'll still do it, even though in Tomlin's retirement. You know that, Mark. He'll still pound the drum for Tomlin.
Right. Well, Tomlin's going to become a martyr and a bigger legend if they have a losing season.
Oh yeah, if you want to smooth over the exit of Tomlin's legacy, just watch McCarthy go 7-10.
And of course, he blew it on the show this week too, because Liverpool were playing while he was on, and he's a Liverpool fan as well. And I did play-by-play of a free kick, and Dominic Szoboszlai scored. I mean, how great is that, right? Under the wall goal. And DeCourcy's color commentary was, "You must be ahead of me. I haven't seen him take the kick yet."
He's not the best color guy in the business for nothing, Mark.
Play along, Mike. I mean, I told you what happened.
But we will have we're going towards football season in between. Now that Starkey's on board with us, Starkey and I are going to do a half-hour show called Beyond the Bylines here between 8 and 8:30 on Fridays. And then when DeCourcy comes back, Starkey and I are going to do a pregame show.
Are they paying Starkey more than us? We got to find out.
Starkey? Oh, yeah, he's getting mad bank. They had to buy him out from the Post-Gazette contract, so he's getting paid way more than us.
Are you serious?
For this, I don't know. For this, you get paid because I pay you. I'm not paying him.
I'm talking about by the trim, but for the stories, for the columns.
Well, I'm salary. You guys have to argue about that yourselves. So I'm full-time.
I think he's salary too.
No, I don't think he is. I think he's like you. I think he's part-time like you are.
Oh, he probably gets the same then.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to get in the middle of this. I'm not brokering this.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Tim. Next time my deal comes up, TJ Watt, $1 more.
$1 more than Myles Garrett. And you want playoff bonuses like Cam, Mark. If the Steelers get the playoffs.
Tim, once I get $1 more than Starkey, I will immediately start to write as bad as I possibly can.
This has been Madden Benz Unfiltered.